Happy Friday, guys. We got a 10-game slate to talk about here. But really quick, before we get into it, if you guys are new, my name is DK. Again, we'll be talking about the NBA DFS slate. Also make videos for NFL daily fantasy sports. If you guys are playing Saturday's main slate, I do have a video breaking that one down. And make videos for Prize Picks as well. They are the sponsor of the video. If you're not familiar, it is a player prop site where you build 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6 player props. Can win up to 25 extra money. They have basically every single sport you can think of. So if you guys want to give it a try, you can use the code DKDFS. It will give you a 100% match up to $100. And if you are looking for premium content, you can check out my Patreon link down below. But let's recap last night. And tilting when you get low-owned Ja, breaking the slate. Massive blowout. No chance he's touching the court in the fourth quarter. Literally like a 60-point game at one point. How? Someone tell me how that's possible. How does that happen? But, Giga Chalk, Zion Williamson, you better believe he got 5 extra minutes. Overtime. Ja Sharks, they get punished with 2.5 quarters. They're a random blowout. Also had low-owned Portis, 6%. Having a really good game. No fourth quarter minutes for him. Rest of my lineup, I ate the chalk with John Wall. Covington, fine value. And then Landale. So, I was debating what to do here with that last spot. I mean, we had Moses Brown, we had Lando, a Biyombo. I felt like with Zion going to overtime and my low-owned players not playing the fourth quarter, that I wanted to go contrarian. So I went to Lando off the bench, who ended up having a really good game. But yeah, that was the recap there. Prize Picks, great bounce back, went 3 for 3. Ray McLeod, we hit over 15.5 receiving yards. That was a sweat. He had 2 big catches called back too, so it should not have been a sweat. Jaren Jackson was not a sweat because I knew who he was going to be matched up against, and I know how foul prone this guy is. And sure enough, he got in foul trouble. And then Devin Booker, we took his under assist. So 3 for 3 day. Great bounce back there. Been running really bad recently. Just going 5 of 6, 4. It's just ugh. So it's nice to sweep the board there. But all right, let's talk about this 10-gamer. We'll start off with Atlanta. No DeJounte Murray, no John Collins. Now they got no Clint Capella. So we'll first start with Okongwu, who should start at the 5, play 30 to 35 minutes. It's a good matchup. I think he stands out as one of the better values in the board. Trae Young, I like the spot for him too. No Murray, he's the clear go-to guy. Like him at 10K. Bogdanovich was massive chalk off the bench. He was a bit of a letdown last game. Did only play 31 minutes, but he's going to come off the bench and chuck at 6K. I think he's still firmly in play. Hunter, AJ Griffin, Jalen Johnson are all fine values. Hunter had the big game last game. But yeah, him, AJ Griffin, they should play a ton. I would assume Griffin pushes for close to 30 minutes, but I do prefer Hunter if I had to pick between the two. So let's move on to Charlotte. On the Charlotte side, LaMelo Ball, well, they got overtime. So would he play 29 minutes in regulation? I want to see if there's any sort of a limit on him for this game. If not, at 8K, I like him quite a bit. If there is a limit, then probably can't do it. And with LaMelo back, kind of hurts Rozier and Oubre. We have Gordon Hayward that might be back too. So this team is starting to get a bit healthier. So we'll keep an eye on news with LaMelo and with Gordon Hayward. Sacramento and Detroit. So my boy Sabonis had a massive game last game, 2020 game against Toronto. I love the spot for him. He's playing a ton of minutes right now, literally playing close to 40 minutes a game, assuming no foul trouble. So I like Sabonis, a good amount there at the top. And you did see a lot of run for De'Aaron Fox as well, played 41 minutes last game. So I think he makes for a nice GBP play. At his first big game in a while, he's really been struggling, and then he finally went off. Kevin Huerter, questionable. If he misses, we saw Terrence Davis start. Now, we've seen his minutes in the starting lineup not necessarily secure, but he did play 25 minutes, and he's cheap, and he's not a bad point per minute guy. So would have some interest in Davis if there's no Huerter. Barnes, Monk, they're both fine. Monk does look a bit better if Huerter's out. Played 33 minutes last game. He's the guy with the higher ceiling, so we'll keep an eye on that. On the Detroit side, I'm not a ton stands out. I know last game went to overtime and a lot of these guys did well, but they're still running a pretty deep rotation. Killian Hayes, I mean, he's been very up and down, 19, 47, 16, 23, 47, but he's a guy that will have the ball in his hands a lot. Jaden Ivey, minutes, not been great on him. Production, kind of been down as well. Bogdanovich is score independent, but he does have a ceiling if he makes his shots. Stewart had a big game last game, but he did have Marvin Bagley get injured and only play 10 minutes. Bagley's back, so be careful about chasing the Stewart game. Stewart's still playable, but don't expect the 10 minutes he got last game. And then Jalen Duren, I mean, played, 31 minutes in regulation. I think he's a fair value here at 4.4K if he does play close to 30 minutes again. Orlando and Boston, not a ton that stands out for me on the Orlando side. Banchero's fine for tournaments. Boston, not been great defensively. 3 of the last 5 games, 40-plus fantasy points for him. Wagner, the minutes have ticked up of late. He's playing mid-30s minutes, so if this game stays competitive, I like him, but there is some blowout risk. Wagner, Bol, they're both playable. Markelle Fultz had a huge game. The ceiling's there for Markelle Fultz, so another guy that I do kind of like for GPPs. Probably not going to get to the value, though. On the Boston side, we'll keep an eye on the big status here for Horford and Williams. Also, we just got news that Marcus Smart is questionable, so if Marcus Smart's out, it's really going to boost the appeal of Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon. And then if the bigs are both out, then you can look to Blake Griffin at 3.7, who should start and play low 20s minutes. Tatum, Brown, they're both secondary spend ups for me. Indiana and Cleveland, not a ton that stands out for me on the Pacers side. I think Halliburton and Turner find GBP plays. Cleveland, solid defensively. So if you want to take a shot on either of the main Pacers, I think that's fine. Buddy Hield, 6'4". His minutes have ticked up of late. He's playable for tournaments as well. But that's about it. Basically just secondary plays here. On the Cleveland side, not much. I mean, Mitchell at 8.6 would probably be my favorite option. He's their go-to guy. Should play close to 40 minutes. It's a good matchup. The bigs just both feel priced about right here with Mobley and Allen. Kevin Love is only 3.6. I know the minutes have not been great on him, but there's still a chance if he plays well to play over 20 minutes. So he's someone that very much intrigues me in GPPs. All right, Brooklyn and Toronto. So for Brooklyn, Ben Simmons, we didn't get any confirmation if he was still on a limit, but did only play 23 minutes. So if we can get confirmation before lock that he's no longer in a limit, then I do like this price point a good amount. Right now, more of a tournament-only play. Kyrie, KD. I prefer Kyrie to KD if I had to pick just because the discount at 8.5 for Kyrie to 10.9 at KD. Claxton 6'2", just kind of there. Royce Neal's back, so value kind of gets hurt. Seth Curry, questionable if he misses. You would think Joe Harris, minutes pretty secure. I think we can probably find better value, though. On the Toronto side, still no OG. The main guys we know should play a ton. Siakam played 43 minutes, had a really bad game last game. Van Fleet kind of did everything, went for 66. Scotty Barnes had a massive game, too. Those three, I think, all look pretty good. I think Van Fleet and Siakam would be my 2 favorite. Gary Trent dealt with foul trouble. Again, no surprise I played. And this guy he causes me infinite pain, man. My life would be so much better if I never rostered Gary Trent Jr., man. Boucher, 5K. I mean, minutes up and down, so he's fine for tournaments. You saw Thad Young start, play 28 minutes. If he starts again at 3-4, do have a bit of interest in him. They dusted off like Kem Birch. They dusted off Hernan Gomez, played him for a bit. Like, I don't know. I don't think I can stomach anyone below Thad Young. Golden State and Philadelphia, so no Steph Curry, no Wiggins. We'll see about Draymond Green. So my worry here is potential blowout, but if the game's as competitive, you know why. Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, these guys should lead the way offensively. I think both are pretty good plays. Poole should run the point. Klay should get more shots up. I like both the main Warriors. Draymond, if he plays, I think a solid option. If Draymond Green misses, I would guess that like Kuminga or Lamb pick up a start there. We'll see. So if Draymond plays, I think the starting lineup will be Poole, Klay, DiVincenzo, Draymond, Looney. And then Draymond's out, again, probably one of like Kuminga or Lamb pick up the start. DiVincenzo himself, 5'7". I mean, had a good game last game. I think he's a fine option, but feels priced about right. And then, yeah, if Draymond's out, then we can start considering some of this value. Looney's 5K, that's too expensive. Plus, you got foul risk going up against Joel Embiid. All right, on the Philadelphia side, so Embiid and Harden are both in a great spot. I mean, if you can afford either, I like them both quite a bit. Obviously, James Harden at massive ownership, had like 22 steals last game. No surprise there. Tobias Harris, they're in the mid-range, kind of indifferent on him and Melton, but mainly just Embiid and Harden that I like. All right, New York, Chicago. So New York, they're still running a very tight rotation. That was so incredibly tilting last game. RJ Barrett got in massive foul trouble, fouled out, only played 13 first half minutes. They're so incredibly tilting, played him at low ownership. But yeah, Randall, Brunson, and Barrett, I like a good amount again. No last game went to overtime, but you still saw 41 regulation minutes for Julius Randle. Jalen Brunson saw like mid-30s minutes in regulation. And then Barrett, again, if he didn't deal with foul trouble, would have played a lot more. So I like the Knicks mid-3 again here. It's a good matchup. They're running an extremely tight rotation. The field still is not picking up on that. So Randall, Brunson, Barrett, like them both all three a good amount. Robinson, fine tournament play. You know what I'm going to say about him if you've been watching my content. Quickly at 5-1, we probably see, mid to high 20s minutes for him. He's fine for GPPs. Grimes at 4-7 should play a ton, but feels priced about right. Hartenstein will play the backup 5. If you think Robinson gets in foul trouble, you can take a shot on him. McBride also seeing rotation minutes at 3-3, but not really enough for me to get to him. On the Chicago side, so decent spot here. I think they're mid-3, I guess, too. DeRozan, Levine, and Vucevic are all in play. In a competitive game, we should see mid-30s minutes for all three of these guys. So, like all three, DeRozan probably been the most, or has shown the most upside this year. So if you want to go for the upside, it's DeRozan. But Levine and Vooch both feel a bit underpriced. I do want to mention value. Patrick Williams has been playing a ton. Played 35 minutes in regulation last game. He's not a good point per minute guy, but he is only 4K. I do kind of like him for value. Keep an eye on IO news. If he misses, should solidify the minutes for guys like Caruso, Kobe White. I feel better about Caruso, assuming he starts, but Kobe White did play 28 minutes last game. He's another guy that I would have some interest in. And I'll mention 3.2K Drummond, just because good point per minute. Something happens to Vooch or the game blows out, Drummond could smash. Minnesota and OKC, a lot to keep an eye on here. So obviously no Cat. D'Lo and Gobert are both questionable. So if D'Lo and Gobert are both out, well, number one, Naz Reid should start and would be an amazing value play at 4K. Then you would probably get Nathan Knight backing him up at the flat min price. He would actually be playable too. But Naz Reid would be the guy that I would like a lot. And then, if they're both out, Anthony Edwards would run the offense. Jalen Noel should play a ton off the bench and get a lot of shots up. Slow-mo, McDaniels would look better. This whole team would look really good in a great matchup. If D'Lo and Gobert are both in, I still like their main guys, Gobert, D'Lo, Edwards. Still have a bit of interest in the wings and Noel off the bench. So, this could open up a lot here for Minnesota on the Oklahoma City side. So we kind of know what's going to happen here. You're going to get big minutes for Shea. Dort, Giddey most likely do see 30-plus minutes. I like Shea for tournaments. Giddey and Dort are just there. This is what I warned people, though. JRE was out. Everyone's like, oh, Pokashevsky, his minutes will be more secure, right? He played 8 minutes. So they always say, if you want to target some of these secondary options, you can. No rhyme or reason to the minutes. It was Darius Bazley that played a ton, played 31 minutes. If you told me he's going to play 30-plus minutes again, he would be in my lineup for sure. But you just never know with the Thunder and the minutes. Other secondary plays. Jalen Williams has been seeing relatively consistent minutes. He feels priced about right, though. So let's finish it up here. 2 more games, Portland and Dallas. On the Portland side, tougher spot. Just because Dallas plays slow. But Dame's been on fire, so if you wanted to go to a contrarian Damian Lillard, that's fine. There's really nothing else that stands out, though. If I had to pick one other guy, it probably would be my boy Nurkic, but his minutes have ticked down a bit of late. On the Dallas side, good spot here for Luka. Prices have come down a bit, 12.3. Had a bad game last game, but I like him if you have the salary to get to him. Nothing else really stands out, though, with Dinwiddie or Wood, Hardaway, all kind of just secondary plays. The minutes have been down on Dorian Finney-Smith of late. I did want to mention that, but let's finish it up here with Denver and the Lakers. So Denver side, Jokic been playing out of his mind. Back-to-back 80 fantasy point games for Jokic. Now he gets a juicy matchup here against the Lakers. So assuming no foul trouble, I think Jokic looks good at the top. The secondary plays are kind of just there with Murray, Gordon, Bones, and Bruce Brown. I think Jamal Murray's the guy with the highest ceiling. He had a bad game last game, but 40 fantasy points the previous 2 games to that. And the Lakers, so LeBron, AD, once again, let's just probable, expect both to play. I like the ceiling on AD if he can stay out of foul trouble. I'm a little bit nervous, though, of AD going to be matched up against Jokic. LeBron, 9-8, that does feel a little bit too cheap for him. Should play a ton. So, like LeBron, like AD, not a ton else that stands out. I mean, this group of like Lonnie, Reeves, Schroeder, Pat Bev, throw them in a group. If you want to just pick one out of a hat and play one, sure. There's no one that stands out there, though. So, yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video. Again, if you have been enjoying the content, just make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. See you guys in the next video.